life has been a long journey, and I haven't even reached 50 yet. When you lose a loved one, time seems to stand still and feel unreal. I'm here today to share my journey after losing someone I love. Life goes on, but I also believe that those we have lost still have the choice to go on with us. As humans, we fear what we can't see and hear. Death is a scary thing, but what we don't realize is that death surrounds us in ways we may not pay attention to. Hey guys, this is Simone, the Earth Witch of Euphoric Garden, and I hope that this message brings you peace and a bit of encouragement. So, for those of you who are new here, welcome. I'm really glad to have you here. In my previous video, I may have mentioned that I lost my mother at 15 years old. I had two other siblings, or have two other siblings, who are younger. My brother, who is 2 years younger than me, and my little sister, who is 5 years younger than me. So they were even younger when this story takes place. And I'm sharing this with you guys because death has a very powerful way of changing our lives. It's just how we deal with that grief that determines how our lives turn out before it's time for us to exit this dimension into the afterlife. So I hope that this message in some way, shape, or form, again, gives you, advice, guidance, or peace if you've recently lost someone, or if you've lost someone years ago. I lost my mother about 16 years ago now. And today is her birthday. It's January 17th, and she is a beautiful Capricorn, and she instilled a lot of values into me and my siblings. And I am so grateful now in my life to have had her as a mother for the short time that I had her and was able to experience her energy. So guys, I do have notes in front of me because, again, as I've spoken in my previous vlog, I do have ADHD and I can veer off into different directions when I'm talking on video, and I want to make sure that I just kind of stick to the point and give you guys as much information as I can. And also in this way, you guys are somewhat connecting with me and I'm connecting with you all as well. So first off, I would like to speak about the loss of my mother. Again, she died 15 or 16 years ago now. Yeah, 16 years ago. I was 15 years old at the time. Again, my siblings were younger. My mother was very sick. Unfortunately, because of spiritual beliefs and religion, she was convinced that she did not need doctors. She didn't need a physician to care for her and to help her manage her illness. And unfortunately, she died very young, in her mid-30s, leaving my father to be responsible for me and my siblings at the time, me and my brother, we were in our teens, and my sister, she was barely 10 or 11 years old. So that's a lot to handle. My mother had lupus, and nowadays, lupus, I can't really speak for those who have lupus because I don't really know too many people who do, but from what my mother experienced, it is very grueling, it is very unpleasant, and it can really put your body through so much pain and discomfort. And I really felt bad for my mom throughout her life, you know? So I really pray for those of you who do have lupus or any type of autoimmune disease or any type of illness, which I'll get to later on in the video, as far as what I've learned from her death. And once again, you guys, you know, death is a part of our lives, and not so much death, burial, having a funeral, things like that. Yes, that is a part of life. That's inescapable. However, we have death in our lives every single day. And what I've learned from my mother's death is that death is the greatest form of transformation and change. And the more we just embrace it, we open up to it, even if we have to cry through it, it's going to change our lives. But it's up to us to determine whether it's going to change our lives for the better. And that's something that I had to really face in my life after the passing of my mother, is understanding, am I going to allow this circumstance, this terrible circumstance, to allow me to blame the world, blame God, blame whoever for why my mother's not here? Or am I going to use her energy to continue to move forward in my life and make her proud and make her happy and open myself to love, even if it hurts, you know? So my mother, she's a Capricorn, okay? And she instilled a lot of values in me and my siblings. She had Taurus in her rising and her moon side, so she was all about her home. She was all about making sure that she took care of herself and did really nice things for herself, but also for her children. She was that mother figure, you know. She was only focused on her home, her husband, and her children. However, she did not focus that attention onto her health, and again, that is what brought her to her demise. But my mother was an amazing person, and I've learned so much from her as far as valuing what you have, despite what other people's values are placed on that. So, you know, like, I love this sweater. I've had this sweater for a while, but you know, some people may not think that this sweater is anything worth, you know, taking care of. But I take care of everything that I own. It doesn't have to be expensive. It can be the cheapest thing, but if it's something that is a part of my home and something that I use on a day-to-day basis, you know, to clean, to, you know, to eat, whatever, I cherish everything. I cherish my home because that is what my mother taught me, and I carry that for the rest of my life, because no matter what you have, no matter how much money you are making or not making, the things that the universe or your God or your spirit guides or ancestors have blessed you with in your life should be valued and should be taken care of and cherished in your life. So that's something that I definitely learned from my mother growing up. I didn't really understand it back then when I was younger, but as I got older, I realized the things that you have, the money that you make, the job that you have, even if you don't really like it at the time, it's still very important to cherish what you have, and then, you know, obviously move on to bigger and better things as you move on. But in the present moment, to just cherish what you have, including yourself and the people in your life, and to never take those relationships for granted. So again, that's everything that I've learned. And on top of that, my mother's death has really pushed me forward into things that scare me, but I know that it's going to be good for me. Death is a part of our lives. We have hair follicles that die, that turn into dandruff, so our hair can grow, right? The death of relationships, breakups, divorce, so that we can move on to bigger and better relationships. So things that don't work out for us in our lives, in a way, is a form of death. The death of our ego is a form of transformation to help us grow. And death, when we pass away or when a family member passes away, I've learned to never take that energy for granted. And I also lost my grandfather last year, and it was, again, very bittersweet energy. I did not get to really connect with him before he passed away, but once again, it caused a lot of change in my family. And also understand, guys, I'm a witch and I'm a spiritual consultant, or a spiritual guide, should I say. And I've had my own spiritual experiences. And one thing that I've learned about souls who pass on, they still have work to do in the afterlife. So even though they may not be here, life still goes on. There's still lessons to be learned as long as our soul exists in these bodies or elsewhere. So last but not least, I would like to speak about my spiritual journey. When my mother was alive, once again, we lived a very simple life. We did not have a lot of money. We lived in inner Los Angeles. I was raised in Los Angeles. My mother, she was actually from Belize. She's from Central America. Her family is from Central America. So I am Belizean American. And my mother's death actually helped me understand, to open my heart and my mind to challenging what I believed to be true as far as God, spirits, angels, traditions, rules that we live by. And once again, let death on its full spectrum help you. And I know that sounds weird to say, but death is here to help us in so many different ways. It just never feels good when that death happens, whatever death that may be for you, okay? Death is never easy. If it was, we wouldn't be mourning the loss of those we love. We wouldn't dread looking at our loved ones who are on their deathbed or really sick and close to death. We wouldn't dread those days of us passing away and having to really think about, like, wow, am I really living my life to the fullest, right? Death is never easy in any sense of the word, whether it's your own physical death, a family member's death, or the death of your ego, or the death of your old self, the death of a relationship, the ending of a job or a career, what have you, the ending of a friendship. Those are forms of death. Death has many spectrums, not many. Death is a huge spectrum and it has many forms. That's what I'm trying to say. So, my beautiful people, for those of you who are experiencing death in any way that I've described, just understand, in the long run, if you open your heart to love, if you open your heart to the greater possibilities in your future, I hope that you find the happiness, the healing that your soul needs to continue to evolve. That is what I've learned from the death of my mother. And yes, today's a bittersweet day because I am celebrating her birthday and honoring her, but they're never truly gone because they live in us. Your family, those people that you've connected with, who you've lost, okay, they're never truly gone because we actually are, our memories of them live on through us. Remembering their jokes, remembering some words of wisdom that they may have given us a while back, they live on. So guys, I just wanted to share that with you guys, just to kind of give you a little bit more information about me and about my journey with death in my life and how it has affected my soul and my emotions and my mind as I evolve as a soul and as an individual. And I hope and pray that that also is in store for you in your future and that you open your hearts to it. But I'm also praying for those of you who have lost something or someone, a relationship. I pray for your comfort and your peace. And just understand that you're never alone. We all have lost something, whether we want to admit that or not. So much love and light to all of you. I wish you guys the best of luck with everything in your lives. I hope to see you guys in your next video. Bye.